The Weber Cup is in its final day. The pressure is building. The finishing line is within sight. The magic number of 19 points getting closer. Who will make the next move? Who will respond to the pressure? Who will write the next chapter in the history of the Weber Cup? The format is simple enough. The magic number here at the Weber Cup is 19. It's the first team to reach that target that claims the trophy. 1 point per match, with the matches consisting of singles, doubles and a baker. A team match involving all 8 players. As for the scoring, it's been simplified. The matches are played over 10 frames. There's no extra shot in the 10th. A strike is worth 30, and of course the magical score still remains the 300 game. Europe have been chasing this tournament from day one. The Americans claimed the opening 2 matches and set the tone. It was left to Jesper Svensson to save the day. He responded with points that kept his team in touch, helped by Barrett winning in the final match of the session. Day 2 showed a closer fought contest. Barrett won the opener, and despite the USA winning 3 games on the trot, Europe found a way back in via Stuart Williams, and then through the partnership of Larsen and Svensson. The USA finished with a win and finished 2 points clear of their rivals. The evening session proved a turning point for Europe. The leaderboard dominated by blue. 2 opening wins in the baker, and then by Williams set them on their way. The evening session and the 15th match of this tournament saw all 8 players turn out for the baker match. Europe, in a determined mood, recorded a 2.86 to win comfortably. Williams added another. Tackett hit back for the USA. But it was a temporary reprieve. 3 more points for Europe and a single one for the USA. It left the score at 11-10 to Europe, a notable shift in fortunes. Day 3 arrived, and the suggestion that the USA would come back at the Europeans was delivered by Kyle Troop, who beat Dominic Barrett in the opener. But normal service was resumed in match 23 as Barrett and Williams teamed up to beat Troop in Kent. Williams then faced Kent and secured a win that took his team 2 clear. This could prove to be the decisive session in the Weber. Europe came back in session 3 and are suggesting a similar performance in session 4. 2 wins out of 3, and coming next, the combination of Barrett and Larsen, who'll take on Sean Rash and Marshall Kent. Time to join our commentary team, Cass Edwards, Stuart Williams and Nick Corley.
So it's doubles action up next. The Barrett-Larsen combination for Europe against Marshall Kent and Sean Rash, the skipper for Team USA. Cass and I have been joined in the box by Stu Williams. Stu, has your pulse come down to normal after that last big ball where you knew you needed a strike? I mean, how do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, my heart rate has come down a little bit, but then they told me I was going to come and commentate with the great Nick Holland, so then I got all nervous again. So, yeah, I mean, when you're in those situations, you've just got to take a couple of deep breaths and just really focus on what you want to do and just make a good shot and, you know, hope the pins cooperate, as Walter Ray would say.
Was that a point you felt that you got as a bonus, bearing in mind that you started out with 2 open frames? You shouldn't have been in that match.
I mean, it felt like a bonus, but I also felt with the way the lanes were that starting off with 2 open frames wasn't that big of a deal because there was going to be misses late on.
Yes, sir. Trying to win the
And
Nagy.
there were plenty of misses. The players mic'd up here, as they always are with doubles. So there'll be a lot of voices talking during this doubles, and Europe looking for their biggest lead margin of the Weber Cup. And Don Barrett on this fresh oil gets Europe off to the perfect start.
Yeah, great looking shot, as you said, Nick. Yeah, fresh oil, freshly dressed lane. And, Scotch doubles, so Dom's striking here will bring Martin up to first on the next shot.
Be interesting to see how he recovers mentally as well after losing that important match last time up. He's not lofting the ball anymore, and he too gets off with a strike.
Yeah, I think Marshall and Dom have both gone with the same idea. They've gone to a less aggressive bowling ball, so the lane probably won't change quite as much now, and they can both stay with a little bit more of a direct line.
Yeah, it looked pretty good from where we were sitting.
I don't want to do
Great
that.
shot from Kent.
I need to practice once. Just stop stuff. Okay.
Well, they're making light of the situation, but this is a critical phase in the battle for this year's Weber Cup, and it's Europe back in the ascendancy here, and not exactly the perfect pocket hit for Martin Larsen, but he does carry all 10.
I think this is where Martin's going to feel a little bit more comfortable with the lane being a little bit fresher and people not trying to play left of him, because Martin has the lower rev rate of everybody on the competition, so it should make him feel a little bit more comfortable this game.
Oh, he's not happy. Oh, you heard his reaction as he let the ball go. I think he'll happily take 9 there.
Good 9.
Well, he'll take the 9, but Marshall's got to spare it.
What went wrong?
Shimwrecker.
Yeah, Sean's trying to say that the people missing in are taking away the hold. I think he's been a little facetious here, because this was a pretty bad shot off his hand.
Yeah, pretty high through the nose. Fortunate to break it up, and Marshall's going to shoot the spare.
Which he does, so the Americans fall behind early here.
Yeah, 21 pins already.
2-hole. You just wanted me to be 2-hole. I see how this. The 2-hole. Yeah.
My error, 19.
Yes. I threw it off. 4-hole now. That was a big 9. That was a good 9. Yeah. I thought it was struck when it hit the pocket.
So one skipper talking, one skipper working, and Don Barrett finding the pocket. He's done a lot of talking to you guys during the course of the last 2 or 3 days, hasn't he, Barrett? I mean, he really has been a leader in every sense.
Yeah, Dom is definitely the guy in the team who's keeping us on track, and he's been really studying the shots, and also on the specto trying to keep track of people's break points.
Long.
Rash, no problems there. That was a sigh of relief.
And got lucky.
Yeah, keeping it close, just 11 pins in it.
Team Europe with momentum on their side. More to come after the break. Welcome back to the Weber Cup. It's the final day, and this is session 4, a crucial one in which Europe are starting to dominate. Commentary from Cass Edwards, Stuart Williams and Nick Calling.
Here's Martin Larsen. Ooh, he lost that badly.
And Dom to play on the other 5.
Yeah, I think Martin just got a little slow with his feet on that one, and then of course once he missed left, it was off. Right now, if Dom could get 3 of these, this would be a really big. Sorry, 4 of these, it would be a really big thing for the count. a spare here isn't really that crucial. It doesn't change that much.
Well, let's see what Barrett can get. 5 standing. How many can he knock over? Just the 2. He was just trying to get the thinnest of snicks on that lead pin to just send it over towards the other 2.
Yeah, that's what he's saying to Martin. He was really trying to make sure he got the front pin, because now if the Americans were to go 9 spare here, they'd still be in the lead. That's the thing with this scoring system. You've got to be very careful on the opens to make sure you try and get 9.
So a great chance here for the Americans with Marshall Kent. And he, rather strangely, has left 3 standing.
But they gave us the count straight back, so we won't worry too much about that.
You're allowed to be biased and partisan. We expect that. And as you say,
this isn't the easiest spare in the world either. Marshall just got that one way right off his hand.
yeah, you often see the concealed pin left standing, but no, he's got that perfect. Making sure the ball just cut into that cluster.
Come on, that is a good spare.
It was indeed.
You made yours.
The banter has started.
Started? It's never stopped.
I had no idea how to shoot it.
Europe with a 1-pin lead.
I didn't know to go straight or hook at it.
You wouldn't catch Stu Williams engaging in badinage and banter of that nature, would you?
No, when me and Sean tend to talk to each other, it's not usually of a jovial nature.
And it's not usually with a microphone on either. That'll take us off the air. Now that's more like it from Lucky Larsen.
Much better adjustment by Martin.
Oh, nice.
The double is good. I picked up really good. Yeah.
That's important, this, because this is such a close match. It could go either way. And all jocularity aside, and the players are having fun out there, Europe on the threshold of their biggest lead in this year's Weber Cup.
Yes, 14. If it goes 14-11, it's the finishing post is within sight.
Well, that just opens the door a tiny little bit wider for the Europeans.
This is the one slight curse for Marshall with having such a high rev rate. Keeping it straight is much harder for him because, you know, his rev rate makes the ball want to turn, whereas Martin and Dominic, the lower rev rate, they can keep it more stable.
Rash, incidentally, continuing to be used very sparingly by himself. He is the captain. He can pick himself. He's saying long way to go, and he's absolutely right. This one's wide open.
I think Sean tends to talk more when he's nervous.
What do you make of his back injury? Something of nothing?
To be honest, I don't really know. I mean, we had no problem putting him back in the match the other night, so it's not like he needs a walker to get around.
Or that you really cared either way.
Barrett looking to just keep Europe in pole position here, and that 10 didn't want to know.
Yeah, nice looking shot from wide outside of the right-hand side of the lane. It's a single pin for Martin to spare.
I would guess, without knowing the full details on the Spectre, I would guess that this ball's gone a little bit too far down the lane. We've more been looking at where the ball starts to hook rather than right to left. So it's just something interesting to keep up with.
So this is a one-pin game again. As Sean Rash quite rightly said, long way to go.
Try that again.
One thing that'll be very interesting is if Marshall continues to miss, when Sean comes back in, it's very difficult in this format. I know better than most people. I mess Martin up when we bowl doubles. If you miss 3 or 4 times in a row, it's a long time since you last threw a strike shot. So knowing how the lanes change is very difficult.
A totally valid point, yes. Looking at the 1-3 pocket from a whole new light after a few frames.
Oh, he's lucky to avoid the big split there. That's not a convincing shot from Marshall.
That was really good.
Well, it's 3 frames in a row that the Team USA haven't struck.
Pretty much flush on the headpin there as well. He's having a tough time out there.
Yeah, I think this was a strange decision by them to put Marshall in for 3 games in a row after he played 4 games in a row yesterday. If you note, Dom never puts us in for more than 2 games in a row. It's once it starts to go wrong, it's very difficult to turn the tide around.
I mean, Kent pulled himself out of it spectacularly in his 4th game of 4 yesterday, but as you say, he'd have been in low spirits coming into this one after losing to you in a match he will feel he should have won. And here he is, as you say, straight back into action. And the reason Kent is getting such a workout is because Rash is playing himself so sparingly.
We actually expected to see more of EJ Tackett today.
Yeah, not seen anything of him so far. He does pop up later on. He will play in the last 2 matches, doubles and singles.
How much you move?
I just moved one back to the right. The first one.
Well, it's still way too close to call here in frame 7.
All right, do what you do, baby. I got you.
A lot of concern in the American camp listening to the chitter chatter going on.
That's more like it.
We'll take that one. That was a little fortunate. That ball didn't pick up like Dom wanted to, but fortunately for us, it hit light and it sent the head pin to do most of the work.
In and firm.
Like Dom's saying, he got it a little left and a little hard, so it was good.
Bit of a hit and thin, make them spin.
Okay.
But it's good enough.
Good shots.
Right now, it's how many, not how.
Well, here's a man who needs all 10 desperately. He's lucky to get away with that one again as well. He's just not in the pocket at all here.
And the other thing is, of course, he's keeping Captain Sean Rash sitting back in his chair and just shooting spares.
Well, he's avoiding splits, but his game is not on.
We've all been in this situation that Marshall's in right now, and it's really difficult. Sean a little bit all over the place on the spare. I think I've seen somebody miss that one this week already.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah.
Strike, would ya? Do your job.
See, this is Sean. He's trying to play to the crowd, but he's really just trying to disrupt Martin. Like, I would have probably let him have it right there. Your turn's over. Get off the lane.
Hey, good shot.
Well, it's confidence building for Marshall, isn't it, when the captain says good shot and it was only a 9.
Ran out of frames.
I'm not sure what that was. It's not confidence building at all, and it wasn't a good shot, so why is he saying that? I mean, Kent needs a lift right now. That was almost taking the mickey. That's strange. Well, it didn't bother Martin Larsen one little bit being put off his stroke. That's a big strike from the Swede.
Yeah, that was huge. That was great. Great shot for Martin. Let it roll. Tells his ball, good job. I guess Martin's ball's doing its job and Marshall's isn't.
Not very nice, but a strike.
It's a strike, and as you said earlier, Stuart, it's not how they go down, it's how many go down.
I'm cheating halves every now and then.
A lot of verbal and mind games going on out there at the moment.
Oh boy, does Marshall Kent need a strike. Thank goodness, thank goodness. You don't like to see a player suffering, certainly not a player of this quality, and you know when someone's in a slump, they're not going to be there for long. He's out of his.
A strike here for Dom and this game's over, so you can guess what result I'm hoping for sitting in the commentary.
You're gonna get a chance. I think.
Yeah, has that come too
I
late?
think you're gonna get a chance. Yeah, 2 hits.
I'm taking it.
Huh?
If I get a chance, I'm taking it.
That's all we can
But
ask
the
for.
pressure is now on. A 23-pin advantage here in frame 9, and as Stu Williams has set it up, if this is a strike,
Strike here locks it up.
they can pretty much close the door. So this is a big ball.
Come on, my friend.
Got him!
That was a great shot there from my captain. Put the dagger in, finished the game off.
Still in, but my hand the right way.
Well, you heard it here first from Stu Williams. A strike wins it for Team Europe, and there it is. Team captains won another point.
Now this is getting serious for the European, or rather for the Americans. The Europeans on easy street now because it's a race to 19. Europe are going to be now on 14 and leading by 3. They've got no safety net anymore, the Americans. They've got to really go on a tear up here.
That was a really good shot by Sean, having had 6 shots off. he made a really good guess there, and that should give him some confidence going into the singles, because I believe he's on against Martin in the next match.
Yes, and that is a point that the Americans will expect to get, because if there's one guy that's been a bit up and down this weekend for the Europeans, it's this man right here. I remember Rash in a captain's pick match did edge Larsen by just 10 pins. But it's the Europeans working with a little bit of a cushion now. Larsen makes absolutely sure of the deal.
Go on, Barrett.
And a 266, a winning score
Too bad.
for Barrett Larsen.
Martin is very much a confidence player, and I feel if his arm gets a little loose doing something he likes, I feel like he could put in a really high score this next game. So that's obviously what we're hoping for.
Bad ball.
Marshall can see the funny side of it all, but here's where they won't be smiling. This is the biggest deficit they've faced. The Americans, who led by 3 twice, now they trail by 3.
Let me show you how it's done.
And a bit of fun for the crowd here to finish things off. Well, that'll do it. Europe in a good position here, Stu. Are you starting to plan the party yet, or is it too early for that?
No, we're just starting to impose our will upon them. The last couple of sessions, we've really started to take some pretty big points. So hopefully that'll continue with Martin in this next match.
Stu, thanks for being with us. Go down and join your teammates right now. Europe in the driving seat here in this race to 19. They lead 14-11. And the heat is on. The Americans must find a response. Their skipper, Sean Rash, up next against Martin Larsen.
Team Europe stepping up to the challenge of defending their Weber Cup title. Reaction and comment after the break. The combination of Dominic Barrett and Martin Larsen has just given Team Europe a 3-point cushion over their American rivals. Over 30 pins the difference between them and the American duo, and a healthy-looking scoreboard if you're European. Barrett and Larsen are now talking to Hannah Wilkes.
14-11. That 19 points isn't starting to look too far away now, is it?
Yeah, but we're going to give you all the cliches now, those famous ones, We're bowling great. The European train has fully left the station. That started last night, and we've just continued that from then.
It was a great performance from both of you there. Martin, you've struggled to get going a little bit so far in this competition, but you're hitting your stride just at the right time, aren't you?
It seems so. I mean, I think my teammates really appreciate when I start to throw some strikes instead of just some bad ones. I actually had one really bad one today, and I thought maybe we couldn't afford that, but no, they were nice to us, the US guys, so we took advantage of it.
There's definitely some sniping going on out there on the lane. Sean Rash trying to throw you off a little bit. How do you deal with that?
Well, that's something we have to deal with day in and day out, and this weekend is a little bit more than normal, but it's a part of the game. We like it. As long as we win, they can talk as much as they like.
Dom, a parting word to your teammate as he goes out to try and get you another step closer to retain that Weber Cup?
Well, we know where that finish line is. We've felt it the last 4 years. We're not there yet, and we've got plenty of bowling left to do. He knows that, I know that. Hopefully the US guys don't know that so much, but yeah, we're bowling great and we're just going to keep doing that.
There's a confidence in the European team as we return to the singles. Martin Larsen is up against Sean Rash of the USA.
They're all really good bowlers. I think you don't get out here on this lane without being a good bowler, so it's a little bit up to how you feel for the day and how you match up to the pattern.
You got Martin, who's the grandpa of the team, old-fashioned, kickback, likes to have a good time, very competitive still.
Of course, the captain, Sean Rash, he's about the same age as I am, and we bowled each other back in the days when I first started traveling to the US, and so I've been knowing him for a long time, and he's really solid.
It's been a privilege to bowl against these guys for many years on tour around the world, And I can understand why now that this Weber Cup is so special to them and to the Team USA members that have been here in the past. And I'm hoping to turn the table today and bring us a win.
Martin Larsen is the guy that's probably been the slowest to get going out of the Europeans. Remember, Jesper Svensson started very hot. Barrett has got better and better. Stu Williams, slow start, but boy, he's firing now. And Martin's just been bubbling under for much of it, but he needs to break out here against Rash, and Rash has got exactly the start he needed.
Yeah, it's a confidence builder for him. A little late on the temping, but he won't worry about that. Great reaction in the back end as the ball comes off the corner of the lane pattern.
The stat that Martin Larsen loves to hear is never been on a losing Weber Cup squad. 5-0. And it could well be 6-0 if he carries on bowling like that. This is almost the point of no return for the Americans, isn't it? If the Europeans take a 4-point lead here, it's going to be very hard for the Americans to pull that back. This is a point they've got to take.
Nick, you're so right. Yes, it is an absolutely climatic time in the tournament here. Sean's been put off and is going to go back and have a little wander. Something just distracted him there. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Martin Larsen had a big game here, just to sort of fool everybody.
Well, he's certainly got one in him, that's for sure.
Go, baby!
That just about took all 10. One or two players have stayed down in the players' area. Don Barrett, the skipper, is down there for Europe, and Marshall Kent has stayed down. Just helps for these players just to have somebody just to bounce ideas off if things are going wrong. A little bit of moral support, if nothing else. Uh-oh.
That won't help. 7-10 split left off of a ball that wasn't that bad. Hard and fast, just a fraction light in the pocket. The 4 sits in front of the 7, but the 6 goes around the 10, and they both stand there totally defiant.
Who called him Lucky Larsen? Well, on that occasion he wasn't.
He would have been if he'd spared it.
That would have been outrageous. It's an open, it's an early open, but it's Initiative USA here.
Yes, and Sean Rash will want to do well. He's started with the 2 strikes.
Leaves the 10 in the corner off another very good pocket hit. You have to say, we've seen those carried more often than not.
Yeah, that's right. A bit of snap in the back end. The ball's gone in at quite a tight angle. Again, that 6 pins jump round it.
That's another pull up there.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, it could be anything. There is a crowd here, but I'm not seeing any moving or misbehaving going on, but there are a lot of lights that just flash around. And sometimes, literally, you can just be blinded as you're stepping up, and that'll be enough to put you off. But whatever it is, he's stopped, he's regrouped. Oh, let's see, yeah. Making no mistakes with the single pin.
Okay, Martin Larsen needing 10 just to draw within striking distance of Sean Rash in the 3rd frame.
Yeah, he does need all 10 as well. He doesn't want to let this gap grow any wider. He's got to put that 7-10 firmly behind him. And let's see what his response is. It was not a good pocket hit at all, and he's left an absolute stinker here.
Cracky, yeah, that ball just rode up very quick, didn't it? Snapped in the back end. Didn't break anything up, went straight through the face of the number 1 pin. Leaves the 3, 6 and the 4 and the 7. Makeable spare. If he can hit that 3-pin right-hand side, bounce it across. Well, it will certainly look very impressive if he can. If he can't, it's another open frame.
Well, Stu Williams managed to recover from 2 early open frames back to back, but he needed Marshall Kent to let him back in. I'm not sure that Martin Larsen is going to be so fortunate as he talks it over here with Dominic Barrett, and it really is time to make some kind of adjustment, and it is time for Sean Rash to absolutely pour it on here, which he does with a strike.
Yeah, Sean Rash can see the winning tape in this game already. You can see that Martin's down, and he's just going to let loose and rip the rack, which he does there for his 3rd strike out of 4.
And this is easy going for him here, no pressure at all. Got a very big lead early in the match, and let's see what Larsen can do in terms of adjusting after that conversation with the captain. Well, it's nothing working for him here at all at the moment, and your prediction of a pretty big score for Martin Larsen, and I quote Cass Edwards, is going out the window here.
Nick, it wasn't a prediction, it was just maybe hoping a bit, but leaving 10 pins in the corner like that off of a reasonable shot is not going to help. That comes the spare ball, which is going to go hard and fast.
We need to replay that bit of tape to hear exactly what you said, because it certainly sounded like a prediction to me. Whatever, a big score is not going to be forthcoming. That much we know for certain. Now, a big score could be coming on the other end. Strike, strike, spare strike, and for the 3rd time he's had to pull up.
Yeah, he's got some sort of problem there with his sliding shoe on that left-hand side of the approach. Now, whether it's perhaps a little bit tacky, maybe he gets his trouser caught underneath his sole.
No, that's the approach that's bothering him, isn't it?
Yeah, something to do with that left sliding shoe.
Now, I haven't seen any other players have this problem, but it's not the first time we've seen this from Rash. And he's managed to put aside the previous pull-ups without disturbing his routine. And he'll carry on in similar vein. He has got this match completely by the scruff of the neck.
Yes, when things are going for you, they certainly do. Not the greatest shot in the world. Crikey, I don't know how he's got that 3-pin to go out. Sorry, the 6-pin. But he did, and it's another strike. 4 strikes out of 5. Pressure on Martin Larsen to do something here, to start something, and hopefully continue it.
I think realistically it's too late already, and I know we're only in frame 5. But Martin just needs to get a strike here, and he's not going to get it like that. Well, he is. Well, he gets a lucky one. Well, that was not a good shot at all, and he takes all 10.
Well, he is Lucky Larsen. Come on, Nick. That's what his nickname is.
Team USA fighting back. More to come after the break. Welcome back to the Weber Cup, where the Americans are determined to fight all the way. Sean Rash is leading from the front and attempting to get a point back and close the gap on Europe. Commentary from Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
If there's one thing the Americans have done consistently all weekend in this year's Weber Cup, it is bowled very efficiently at single pins. There was just the one from E.J. Tackett that was far too close for comfort. Everything else has been pretty much nailed on.
Yeah, I can't see Sean Rash giving anything away to help Martin Larsen. It's just all strikes and 2 9 spares.
Well, it was not a convincing strike last time up, but to quote Stu Williams in the commentary box in the last match, it's not about how they go down, it's just how many you get down. That's all that matters. You don't get bonus points for a clean pocket hit and a strike, you just get the points for the strike any way you can, and that was a much better hit. That's probably the best ball he's bowled in this match.
Makes 2 strikes in a row, so it's an extra 30 pins. But as I say, I can't see Rash giving up anything here. And even if Martin strikes off, he's only going to be 246 if he strikes off the sheet, which likely will not be enough.
That's gone wide, and look at the reaction off the back end, but that really had to work hard to get into the pocket.
Well,
leaves the 10.
In fact, Nick, it worked too hard. It came back at such an acute angle. That's why the 10 pin stood up. Had it been slightly straighter, it may well have carried it, but from the outside boards, that's just turned left. Perfect pocket hit as such, but the angle was just wrong.
Back-to-back 9 spares. If Martin can convert a turkey here, he's still got just a glimmer of a hope.
Yeah, but 21 pins adrift with 3 frames, so he's going to rely on Rash having an open frame. But you really can't rely on that, the way he's throwing the ball.
But all he can do is strike off the sheet here and hope that something does happen with Rash, who's been absolutely solid in this singles game thus far.
Big ball for the European, working on 2 strikes.
Make that 3. Well, he's playing his part here. The damage, of course, done a long time ago. A turkey for Martin Larsen. But it's those open frames that you would think have sealed his doom in this one. He needs Rash to let him in, or a bit of bad luck come the Americans' way. A split would make things interesting.
Yes, as you said, Nick, those 2 open frames, frames 2 and 3, cause so much damage. I mean, he's trying to resurrect his game with 3 strikes in a row, but I don't think Rash is going to let him off the hook.
Well, there's certainly been no sign whatsoever in a problem for Sean Rash. He's not had to make any significant adjustments. The lane is still playing clean, and Rash is just efficiently going about his work, and that, I'm sure, will be that.
Yes, he's setting this up for a victory in frame 8 with another strike. Starting to use the full width of the lane now. Great reaction in the back end off that last 20 feet. This is the 2nd game played on this lane dressing.
It will be redressed again for our next match, which is doubles, featuring Jesper Svensson, who we've not seen yet this afternoon, and Stu Williams against E.J. Tackett, who we've also not seen, and Kyle Troop, who we saw right at the start of the afternoon session, bowling a 279. So the Americans will fancy their chances in the next match too. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to see a 14-13 score. That somehow has gone there for Martin, but it is all too late to make any material difference.
Yes, just an unusual 7-10 standing there for a little bit, and the 7-pin wobbled, it twisted, did a song and dance, and then thought about falling over. It's done a full 360 there, isn't it? Look at that, crikey. Someone's opened the door and the draft's come in, and away it's gone. .32 pins the difference, 2 frames to go.
Rash can win this with a blindfold on. from here. Yeah, Martin will be looking back at those early open frames. It is so hard to have back-to-back open frames and win. Somehow that 7 has defied gravity, but again, this is all coming far too late in the day to help Larsen out. Takes that out. So
it was close.
Yeah, it wasn't the most convincing single pin spare you'll ever see Sean Rash bowl, but he knows that's enough, and that realistically is the point secured.
Yeah, Martin's got to hit 2 strikes here to make Sean turn up in the last frame.
Well, if he gets 9 in the last frame, that'll be enough for a tie. That is assuming Larsen strikes and then strikes again. And that is the end of that. The bucket is left. Martin, in this point, has kicked the bucket.
Yep, and there's a bit of a hole in it as well.
That's the one that moved off its spot as well, so another open frame. He's not had a good day.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. 184 with a frame to go. It's all over. 3 big open frames for the European.
He'll be really disappointed with this, Martin Larsen, as Sean Rash just puts an exclamation point on this one. Marshall Kent, the first to congratulate him. This was a must-win point, and they'll fancy their chances in the doubles match coming up.
256 is a big game for your first outing of the afternoon. And Rash has done it. Real captain's innings there.
Now, he's just trying to get himself over the 200. That's how disappointing this has been for Larsen, who is so much better than this. And he has just had a nightmare. It's gone bad to worse.
Yeah, change the ball just for the last shot, and he's having a bit of banter there with Rash. It's probably a good job they're not mic'd up for this game. Well, oh, here we go. This is a bit of international doubles here by the look of it. Bit of exhibition stuff. Which pins are you going to take?
Let's have some fun.
One's left-handed. Rash is left-handed. Larsen's right-handed.
Oh.
Well, it nearly worked. It was one of their party piece trick shots, and Rash has fallen off the lane. So it's all good fun and great banter here. Great friends on and off the lanes, but it's a victory for the American captain, Sean Rash.
Indeed it is, and that big exhale of breath there really just sums up how important it was as well. Martin Larsen came into this one hoping for big things. It didn't happen for him. The Americans needed that point, and the captain has delivered. They reduced the deficit, and they'll be looking to shrink it to just 1 when we return.
Session 4 of the Weber Cup threatened to be dominated by Team Europe, but Sean Rash has put in a captain's performance to ensure that his team stays within touching distance of the Europeans. Rash is now talking to Hannah Wilkes.
Sean, just the 2 points in it now this afternoon. How crucial a win was that for the US team?
Well, every win's important now. It's Sunday, so it's a lot better to talk to you than talking to Tony and Guy, I tell you that. So, no, we're fine. You know, Stewart threw that really good shot to win his match. That could have gone either way, and it's going to be a battle. You know, we're going to bowl through tonight, and hopefully we get all the way to the Baker match, unless we go on our own little run. But none of the guys are feeling any pressure. I'm sure everybody's starting to feel a little nervous, which is part of sports. If you're not nervous, why are you playing? So it's another win. We're moving on.
You were having some fun out there in the last frame with Martin. How much are you enjoying your first Weber Cup experience?
Well, they told me if I won the crowd that I might be invited back. I don't know. I think I'm supposed to win the crowd by the people that put the show on first, but I've had a blast. I've always been told how much fun it is and how much the atmosphere is and how great the fans are. So I'm just enjoying it. You know, we're entertainers. We're professional athletes, and we're supposed to put on a good show, and Martin and I can always put on a good show.
EJ and Kyle are up next for you. We haven't seen EJ yet today. Is that a purposeful choice or just the way the draw kind of came out?
Well, EJ stayed out later than normal last night, so
All the truth's coming out now.
yeah, no, he's fine. I went to bed early and let the boys have some fun, but no, EJ, just how the positioning is and how they tell us our matches have to go, just made sense for EJ to go out this afternoon with Kyle, and then he'll bowl the singles match afterwards.
Great, thanks very much.
Sean Rash confident that his team can close the gap. His faith entrusted to Tackett and Troop for the next 2 matches as Team USA attempt to win the Weber Cup for the first time in 5 years.